All right. Welcome to the Beer and Bullshit Show. Woo!
Yeah.
I'm your host, Chris Bennett, along with my lovely, lovely co-hosts, Shane Cameron and Amy. Um, episode 101. Can you believe it?
It's beer and
And
bullshit.
Shane and I were talking. Shane and I were talking offline, and he said that if this was a college course, it'd be the beginning of the Beer and Bullshit Show because people would have to learn from this particular 101, right? So, but I doubt that episode 1 would probably be the one, or 5 or 20 or whatever. But luckily this is not a college course, or the one thing I would, if this was a college course, I would say, write down all the beers that have shown up on the Beer and Bullshit Show.
Oh.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know, with all the college courses that they require these days and some of the silliness that they do. Women's studies, why can't they do beer and bullshit studies, Let's do it.
Beer and Bullshit studies.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Hey, I'm working on my master's, so I'm in grad school. It's good.
Hey, Amy, what are you drinking tonight?
I just went local with my favorite local beer here, or one of my favorite beers, my Chapacanon, my citrus IPA from Heavy Seas, right down the street here in Baltimore. My
Nice.
excellent summery. I think it's a 40 IBUs, so it's not.
It's not
real hoppy for an IPA. No,
right.
It's the one. It's the tropical version of. They put blood orange, grapefruit, a little lemon. I want to say almost a little mango to it. But they added that to the to their loose cannon, which is their standard IPA, and then they also have a double cannon, which is their double IPA version of it. Now they have an American cannon, which is like the American version or American hop version of it. But anyways, I like Heavy Seas. They killer on the IPAs.
Cool.
What y'all drinking?
All right, Shane, tell us about what you're drinking, and I gotta go get something real quick.
I got your regular stoner West Coast IPA. It's a 6.9. I like my 69s. It's a good basic beer for a good basic bastard. Isn't that the term now? Basic bastard for a man.
No, because bastard still implies that you have some personality.
Oh. Well, it's a fair beer, It's got some personality. Let me see here if I can attempt to do this like Scott. I have to plug my nose first, right? Before I talk. I don't know. It's good. Is that a good description? I like it.
That's you know what? When it really comes down to it, that's about the only thing that matters. I like it. It's fucking good. I like it.
I freaking love it.
Yeah, I could drink it in the sun in a on a hot afternoon, staring at some babes on the beach.
What's the ABV on it?
Mexico. It's like 6.9. It's a 69er.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. No. Okay. Sorry, that went right over my head. I'm blonde, red, apparently. Woo. All right.
You got something on your neck.
Awesome. Well, I had to get my bottle opener because I don't like prying bottles open with my teeth.
That's good.
Weak.
Because I'd be looking like one of them rednecks, Hey, watch this, Martha.
What are you trying to say?
I've got the Antwerpen Stout, which is part of the Guinness variety pack. So it's an 8.0. It's a 8.0. And this is the first time I've ever had it. So
you got one of those CO2 cartridges in it.
What do you mean? It's in a bottle. It's not in a can.
Oh, it's in a bottle. Okay. I couldn't see it very good.
Right.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I gotta turn up my brightness or something on my phone.
It's all right. You're all good. So.
And how is it? What's it like?
I haven't taken a sip yet. Let me try it real quick.
All right. Because, Guinness, I've always liked some Guinness beers.
You can definitely it's got a heavy malt presence to it. But with the, you can, it's got the distinctive like Guinness kind of flavor to it, but it's a little bit more heavier. You can taste the chocolate and the chocolate malt. It's probably a deeper chocolate malt. A little bit of coffee like notes in it. But it's a deeper and just it's not bad. Not bad at all. Yeah, it's. I think it's maybe a richer Guinness. So.
Would you say? Is it? You think it's heavier too?
Yeah, it's heavier. It's definitely heavier. So, I like it. I mean, I only drink Guinness like once a year because there's so much else out there, that why do you want to keep going back to whatever? Even though I do, there are times during the year I'll see something I haven't had that in a while. Let's go to that. But there's just so much out there now that I just passed 400 on Untappd, and I know I've had double that, but
yeah. I know. I keep forgetting to check mine in, and I think I'm at like 1,100 or something like that.
Yeah, I keep forgetting to check in, or else I would probably be at around 750, 800 myself. But yeah, I've been doing a little bit better job in checking myself in for that. So I'm at like 400, a little over 400, but. But no repeats though. I told myself I wouldn't repeat a beer until I get to 500. So
I do. I repeat mine sometimes. I try not to very often, but every now and I'll go back in, especially if I have something to change. Because something I had 2 years ago, I might look at differently now.
Right. So I told myself I'll go repeat when I get the 500, and then. Once I get the 1,000, it's going to be just all out. I don't care if I repeat or not. So.
Yeah, see, I'm at like 1153 and 14, almost 1,500 check-ins.
Damn.
So I go in and kind of like update stuff, whenever I have it again, and I think it's different. So, like I said, I still forget to check crap in. I mean, you've seen what Friday night beer night looks like around here. It's a little pretty.
Yeah, we won't talk about Friday night beer night, especially in the Amy household, in the Amy and Rick household.
It's usually pretty good. Usually.
So.
I don't have designated nights like this is going to be really fun. I'm just like. It's going to be fun.
Just remember in 3 weeks, I'm on vacation. So I can't wait. And then 3 weeks from today is the shitty beer show.
Oh, shit.
I can't wait for the shitty beer show.
The shitty beer show. So,
That sounds tempting. But I'm gonna be in Italy for the shitty beer show, or maybe France.
In 2 weeks, Shane will be on a plane while we're doing the show, probably.
In a week and a half. I'm gonna leave on a Monday, and I'll get there on a Tuesday. So, but I don't know if I'll have time. I don't think I'll have time to find any beer. But if I do, because I'm gonna be hanging out with my girlfriend, and I might need to be like, I might be kind of busy, guys.
Yeah, we don't expect you to be on in 2 weeks, so especially with the time difference. So
oh yeah, I would have to be up at
like
8 hours,
right?
Maybe 7 hours ahead of you, so it'd be like 4 in the morning. So it might happen.
I don't expect it. Yeah.
All right. So it'd be Thursday at 4 in. It's a possibility. I'm just saying. I'm that badass. I am that.
Yeah, I could see it now. He's like, hey babe, I need to get up. We gotta go on a show.
Yeah. I gotta go drink with these. I gotta go drink with these fucking lame ass Americans.
but it's 4 in. And she's like, but it's 4 in. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Amen.
You can easily start at 4 in and have a great, successful day.
Yeah,
no problem.
Especially if you're drinking like a breakfast stout or something.
Yeah.
You know what the fucked up thing is? I have done similar. Not exactly that, but I've done similar to that. I remember drinking until like 2 o'clock in the morning, being completely hammered. Going in and getting like a cheap hotel, not even the hotel that I was staying in, staying there for the night, not alone, and then getting up in the morning and taking a $50 cab ride back to my real hotel and still being kind of drunk, but not really wanting to face the day. Go ahead and starting, again at like 6:30 in the morning, and then just nap the rest of the day.
Yeah. I've had some. What you do in Vegas.
I've had some times when I've started at like 5 in. It's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm off for like 3 days. Shit, let's start.
Yeah.
I tell you, what are the little ones? Scott, you can tell me this. I know you're just chiming in. What's the little ones from Avery that I love so much? With the little blue cans with the tiki guy on them.
Well,
the Lilo.
Was it Alpaco or something like that?
Yeah. It's like it's Lilo something. I mean, but anyways, that's like the best thing in the world for breakfast. It's really low ABV. It's like 5%. It tastes so good. No orange juice. Even if you put Malibu in it, make a mimosa, whatever. Nothing beats this beer for breakfast. And every time I have them, I say I'm going to save them. And they're gone. And like, they're just so good. And they're so expensive, For like a breakfast beer.
The Founder's Breakfast Stout for breakfast.
As we were just talking about, that is good. But I mean, that's a little bit heavier for breakfast normally than where I'm trying to go. I'm trying to go to something that tastes like orange juice route. I mean, I know, see the can, I know what it's called. I always call it my little blue Keepalo can, but I don't know how to say it properly. And the people at the beer stores, they correct me over and over and again, but I'm just dirt, not the brightest bulb on the tree. It never sticks with me.
If you're going to do something like that, I would still go with like something like I still have to give it up to Sam's like the Rebel Grapefruit, something low alcohol with like kind of grapefruit, orange juice kind of flavor going on there. The new ones that are coming out, like the New England style IPAs that are just like they're hazy. They kind of look like orange juice, but they got like that nice hop bitterness to them.
No, it's not the same as the Avery. I've never had anything like the freaking Avery. I swear to God, it's the best morning beer ever.
Since Scott has joined us, so Scott, What are you drinking? And let me guess, you're drinking a Sam Adams Irish Red.
I am not.
What?
I've got 2 Boston Lagers left, and that's the only Sam's that I got in my house at the moment.
What?
Yeah.
Does Mr. Koch know about this?
Yeah, right.
We need to call him up and say, Scott needs an emergency 24-pack sent to his house.
Yeah, right. At the moment, no. I've decided to go with just another go-to, I guess you would say, that I don't really have on camera most of the time. I went with my Guinness. The Antwerpen's really good, man.
Yes, it is. This is the
like
first
that
time I've had it.
Now, like I said, I went with the draft cans.
Right, but this Antwerpen, it's like a richer Guinness.
Yeah.
Okay, it's very heavy on the chocolate malts.
Yep.
And stuff, but it's really good. It's a good, nice 8%er. I mean, man, if I could find this all year round, I could probably drink this. It's really good.
Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
I'm trying. That's my morning beer. That's the greatest thing ever created for breakfast.
Well, I don't know if that's the greatest.
I was gonna say
for breakfast, but hey, it's maybe the greatest.
I was gonna say maybe next to a boyfriend who is very into participation in the mornings. The two go hand in hand.
Well,
it's a match made in heaven.
So,
but anyways, I digress.
Okay.
Oh, I never digress. Two of you.
Since I'm halfway through this,
two people drinking Guinness.
Well, this is kind of the Irish beer kind of show, but I mean, I know you didn't get the memo, but that's okay.
I've got Guinness right down the street from my house.
This is the week of St. Patrick's Day. Dang.
Yeah, but I'm Irish every day, so all beer is good.
I decide if I really wanted to. I don't think that I'm going to do this probably this evening. I don't know. This is a 10.3% alcohol by volume, but this is from Evil Twins Brewing Company. This is the Irish-ish coffee stout.
Irish-ish?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Do it.
Is Imperial stout brewed with lactose and demerara sugar with nutmeg, vanilla, medium toasted oak spirals, and coffee added.
All right, I have my move it that way a little bit. All right, right there. Hold on. All right, turn it back that way a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. So I can have Mr. Rick find it for me. I got
it. Clever.
And yeah, I could see Rick going, "Who's that dweeb holding the can?"
He knows who you guys are.
Oh, that's right.
Like, I'm sorry.
He pops his little head in here every now and again. Yeah.
So yeah. Since we're, this is good. This is good. I really like it. So, luckily I have two more.
It reminds me of a mixture between a regular Guinness and the Foreign Extra Stout.
Yeah. I've got the foreign chilling right now. I've got
Foreign Extra Stout is my favorite Guinness.
Okay, I've got the anniversary one in the fridge right next to me right now. So
that's not bad either. I thought that was pretty good too.
So I've got that in the fridge and stuff like that. But the grocery stores that I usually service, they had a 6-pack of Guinness for $6.49.
Yep.
And you double that, and you get $3 off because I had one of the manufactured coupons
Yep.
from my work. And that dropped that price down to $10. So I was just like, shit, a 12-pack of beer for $10.
Can't go
beat
wrong
that.
there, buddy. Well, that's just
So,
like
and then-
I decided to buy this. I've been looking at it every set. I've been at the place that I go to up in Kent, Ohio, a couple of times this week, and it was just like every time I go up there, man, I just keep looking at this beer, and I was like, it's got a quirky name to it, but at the same time, it's made here in Ohio. It's not very far away from me. But I'm sitting there looking at it. I'm like, well, it's technically a award-winning dark Belgian strong ale. So I'm like, okay, so it's kind of like a mixture between a strong ale and a quadruple. And it's called Monk in Public. Kind of like drunk in public, but it's monk in public.
Okay.
So I mean, it's got this Belgian yeast into it. It's they say it's lightly boozy with characters of dark fruits like black cherry, dried figs, plum, while the Belgian yeast strain loads a lightly spiced and dry fruit phenolic character to it. So I was like, well, I'll go ahead and pick it up. It's like 10% alcohol by volume, and at this big bottle, and they only wanted like $11 for it. So I was like, it's mine.
That's not bad.
Who's the brewery? Yeah, who's the brewery?
Yeah, who's the brewery?
Maze Valley,
Which is out of
Ohio.
Ohio? Okay.
Yeah.
I think
10% alcohol by
you piqued Amy's interest there a little bit.
Brewed and bottled by Maze Valley.
Little bit.
Brewed in Hartville.
Well, I mean, I love. I mean, I like anything with a Belgian base normally, but like one of my flavors that's. I mean, you know, everybody. I mean, they go through seasons. They go through whatever, you know, with what they're into for beers. Right now, like some of that, the wee heavies are really kind of getting at me lately.
Really?
That's been what I've been liking. Yeah.
Oh.
So normally this time of year, everything I want is thick and black. Anyways, but yeah, the wee heavies.
Well, Amy, I'm sorry to tell you this, but I think there's only one woman, okay, that's getting something thick and black. All right.
I live in Baltimore. I'm sure there's thousands.
I knew that was coming.
I meant on the show, so you know. That happened to be the old lady, my old lady.
Where's it at? I'm gonna find this stupid beer. One of the best wee heavies that I can actually get my hands on more times than any. It's called Trey Core House.
Never heard of it.
Trey Core House Ale. It's from Scotland.
Oh.
So, all right. Well, since I'm a little bit more halfway through this beer, we could start the bullshit. I got something that I want to lay out.
Lay it.
No, don't.
Okay.
No.
As you guys probably know, I homeschool my son.
Right.
Yes.
And with what went on today with these kids
I envy you, by the way, for that.
Walking out of school, okay, to protest gun violence and, further restrict our gun rights or whatever their motive is or their whatever. This is one of those days I'm absolutely positively glad that my kid is not in the public school system. Okay, it's just these kids. I don't think they even pay attention to history. All right,
they don't.
They don't. They don't.
No.
Well,
even the ones I was watching the news this evening, and even the ones that were standing outside doing a protest in Parkland, they were sitting there jumping around and laughing.
They don't know what they're doing it for. And the thing is, they're being told by the administrators that that's what they're supposed to do. And the way it was in Baltimore City schools up here today is they actually took them, they didn't do a march out, they took them to the auditorium.
Okay.
So, I mean,
my son's school just decided to sit silent for 17 minutes while somebody over the loudspeaker went ahead and read the names of everybody who passed away. Instead of doing a march out, they just sat in silence for 17 minutes.
Right.
I mean, I don't have
but there
any,
is videos going around on YouTube.
I don't have any problem with anybody doing like, a memoriam to, anybody who's been killed or anything like that. But the thing is, they're, and I can tell you, I mean, I see it a little bit more being here. And I can't really get into in depth on it because this is public type stuff, and I'm talking about family stuff. But I see so much. I mean, because the ages of our kids together and the ranges that they are in school, I'm really starting to realize. I mean, I knew it was bad, but I'm starting to realize really just how bad it is. And I mean, they're literally brainwashing these kids. And
oh yeah,
I was talking about. I've talked about it a lot, and I mean, I had talked about homeschool, and I mean, I had this great idea that I was going to be this great homeschool parent. I mean, I did the natural birth, the no drugs, the breastfeeding. I mean, the baby wearing. I mean, I was all Miss fucking Mom. And then, life kind of smacks you in the face. And I was going to be Little Miss Homeschooling Mom, too, And things didn't really work out exactly the way I wanted. I'm not saying that they can't, because obviously they can. But I tell you what, I mean, some of the stuff, I mean, I talk to my kids a lot, and I challenge my kids on the things that they're taught in school and their ideas. And I try to make them think. But I'm seeing some of the older kids, and I'm seeing some of the shit that I'm seeing scares the fuck out of me. There's really no other way about it. I mean, without giving out too much of me, it scares the ever living fuck out of me, because these are the people that are going to be leading this country.
Well,
I mean,
this way, I know all of you guys are going to know this.
Voting age now, and it scares the piss out of me.
Well, all you guys are going to know this, but what is the stuff that you see on TV?
I have a TV.
Bullshit. And we're not talking about
TV for a long
bullshit.
It is programming. It is programming you and your kids
absolutely
to do exactly the shit that they want you to do.
Mindless.
No, it is absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's mindless.
But the thing is,
but it's made to dumb you down.
Yeah, the thing with TV, and I'm not trying to get like all super serious and holier than thou here, because obviously, I mean, I'm no angel, but it promotes. Yeah, it promotes.
Obviously.
It promotes levels of degeneracy.
Yes.
That are far and beyond what should be acceptable. I mean, what I do as an adult in my house, with another consenting adult or whatever, is fine. But when there's so many things that are just pushed and pushed and pushed, and to make it seem like you're normal, to where kids have to come home and feel like they're not normal if there's not something wrong with them, or if they don't have some weirdness going on in their life, and that's not the way it should be. I don't know.
But at the same time, these kids that do have the weirdness going on with their lives, they're the ones that are picked on, labeled, and everything else.
Right.
It's kind of actually starting to turn around a little bit, Scott. At least up here where I'm at. I mean, I'm seeing some backsucker shit. Not lying. Where the normal kids are getting picked on.
Well, the big thing that I'm really concerned about is like the curriculum in public schools. I don't want my kid coming home and saying, "Dad, I think I'm transgendered." Really? It's just like there's two genders, male.
Well, even if you look on
That's
a lot of forms nowadays, the forms are even saying male, female, or other.
How can you be another? You're either male or female.
Right.
You either have a penis or you have.
Yeah,
okay.
Now, if you have both, I mean, I can understand you're a hermaphrodite, but you know that's rare.
I was gonna say yes. I was gonna say there is the rare exception, but it's very, very rare because generally the doctors take care of that in the hospital when you're born. Do you want us to poke a hole or build a pole? You know,
right?
So
you either have a pole or you have a cavern.
But
hey, not to interrupt for a second, but I just opened that up.
Oh, okay, nice.
So, but you know, and that's one of the reasons why, as someone who proclaims a Christian, I didn't like a lot of the stuff that they were doing in the public schools, even here in Springfield. Okay, that I was just like, yeah, I'm getting my kids out of the school district because they're not really teaching my kid anything. They're just and 7 months out of the 9 months that they're in school, all they're doing, okay, is preparing for a test that they have in April.
Yes, they're not teaching them. They're not teaching them to learn. They're teaching them to recite. That's all.
To recite.
Right.
And when I was in school, we were taught to learn. Okay, we didn't spend 7 months preparing for the Iowa Basic Skills test.
Right.
We spent
but also look at what they're learning too, because they're not even learning half of the stuff that we went through at school.
Right, but what I'm saying is that we spent 6 weeks going over the Iowa Basic Skills. Okay, this is back in Colorado. Okay, and then after that, we went back to our regular, studies or whatever. In fact, we included our regular studies in with. So, but the Iowa Basic Skills.
Hi, people.
But the Iowa Basic Skills test was like the foundation. It wasn't like the sky. You know what I mean? It was a foundation. So if you scored really high in the Iowa Basic Skills test in a certain level, you knew as a student where you needed to progress from.
Right.
Now it's like, well, we're going to take your federal funding away if you don't perform at a certain level.
They want the whole area to perform at a certain level because of the fact that they're like, if you don't meet this criteria, then we're just going to take your funding away.
Yeah, we're going to take your funding away, which means we're going to lose teachers, we're going to lose blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe if we did away with the Department of Education, I know there's people out there that are going to go, oh, we can't do that.
They're going to lose their mind.
Okay. I was like, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind at all.
Chris, did you see what?
Privatize it.
Did you see what the mayor of Baltimore just did? I don't know if. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. They can't even afford to heat the schools. I'm sure you guys saw that over the winter.
Yep.
Baltimore City kids were off. I mean, literally across the city. No heat in the schools.
Yep.
And instead of taking money to fix that, maybe, I mean, and the kids don't have air conditionings in school in Baltimore City, which to me, anyways, she got 60 buses, Mayor Pugh from Baltimore City, and she bused kids to these like little anti-gun rallies.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I mean, to spend the money on that
and for their $100,000 to bust these kids in.
Yes.
Bolster the numbers.
Yep.
Here
but at the
they
same
were
time,
giving kids suspension.
You have the moms that demand action. they were doing a rally here. I don't know if it's this coming weekend or if it's the weekend after, but I swear to God, even though that they consider themselves grassroots, I swear that they've got to be funded by Bloomberg.
But I can tell you that over this past winter, as cold as it got, especially in January, that kids that I know were carrying blankets to school and wearing long johns and everything else and huddling in their classrooms, while you could see their breath, when they're taking little videos on their little phones and stuff. It's absolutely disgusting, and there's no reason for that. I mean, there was even people that even pulled their kids out of school because of it. But they missed too many days, they can't graduate. But at the same time, they're going to freeze their asses off. I mean, how do you learn when your classroom is 32 degrees? And, I mean, a lot of it's more the high schools and the elementary schools, but the elementary schools aren't, I mean, luckily, my kids, their elementary school wasn't too bad. They still had to have them wear coats and stuff like that, but they weren't below freezing. And I mean, it's fucking horrible. But at the same time, they can spend all this money for all this other shit. I mean, I could go on about Baltimore City for days, but I mean, this isn't the Baltimore City bullshit show. Baltimore City's got its own bullshit show.
I'm sure every time you go down to City Hall, watch the meetings, it's probably a bunch of bullshit.
Did you guys see the latest videos floating around Facebook with the kids in Chicago?
No.
They got let out of school and they ran to the local Walmart and they trashed the local Walmart.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Yep.
It's like, okay, you're protesting against gun violence, so you're gonna go trash your local store?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't.
Wow, it doesn't need to make sense.
Believe me,
it doesn't.
Believe me, and us folks down in below I-80 or whatever have to pay for every year. The city of Chicago comes to Springfield and says, "Well, we need more money. We need more money." And it's like, no, you don't. You already take 40 for every dollar that's taken out of me in taxes. 40 cents goes to Chicago.
I think that's the way most people in Maryland feel about Baltimore.
Oh,
and I can't say I blame them.
40 cents goes to Chicago. It's like, really? You already get enough. So it's like taxes are high there. I mean, the sales tax alone is a little over 11%. And
oh Jesus.
And it's just like for every $100 you spend, you gotta shell out $11 in taxes.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
So you end up driving to a tax haven, like Indiana or something. Go to Missouri, to get cheaper prices on stuff if you're going to go drop $500 at Costco. And then you add it up and
let me tell you the brilliance that Baltimore City just did. They decided to ban everything styrofoam from any restaurants or food service.
What?
You can't make this shit up. All right. Anyways, the vote was this past Monday, but my sushi gets delivered in styrofoam. My wings get delivered in styrofoam. My cheesy bacon fries get delivered in styrofoam.
Not anymore.
Obviously, someone. I was gonna say someone was making money, but no one's gonna make money now. So.
Well, nobody's gonna make any money now, and I mean, do you? I'm sure all of you at some point have worked in a restaurant, right?
I have, yeah.
Nope.
All right. All right. Well, anyways, when I've managed restaurants before and done, the ordering and all that kind of stuff before, the cost difference between going from your basic styrofoam containers to the really nice paper cardboard containers or even the plastic. It is a fucking tremendous cost.
Right.
So anyways, there may possibly be a class action lawsuit. Right now everything's kind of in the works on it.
You got to sign up. You got to sign up for that so you can get your 47 cents at the end.
Now the thing is, I mean, it's going to get to the point where, I mean, you can't afford anything up here. I mean, everything up here, me coming to here from Virginia, which 150 miles, you know, I mean, just the cost difference in everything because of the taxes and stuff is so much more. But the more restrictions they do, the worse it's going to be. But I mean, there's so many little teeny mom and pop places that, especially like I live in, I'm not trying to insult my neighborhood because I like my neighborhood. I really do. I like where I live. But anyways, it's basically like the little white ghetto of Baltimore. It's full of junkies and hookers, but you know, I mean, our little couple streets are nice, and you know, it's a bunch of old people, and everything's pretty quiet. But I mean,
that's the point though too. I mean, the people that take care of their stuff is going to have nice stuff.
But it's fucking. I mean, I don't know. It's crazy. It's a huge culture shock. And I mean, and I'm not talking about. The funny thing is, when people talk about like culture shock being demographics, my neighborhood that I live in right now is almost 80% white.
Okay.
Okay. My neighborhood that I moved from was 70% black.
Okay.
My neighborhood that I moved from was 1,000,000 times more sane than up here. So everybody talks about race relations and things like that. No, one, it's your fucking government. Two, it's your fucking mindset. And how much they take from you and just take and take and take and take and take. I mean,
but would you also add in the factor that you're getting a bigger
I know that everybody, not everybody, but I know that a lot of people say that the way that things are up here, you know, I mean, everybody's got their theories as to why Baltimore is so bad. I can tell you that I don't
because you guys picked up the Browns.
No, I don't know. No, I don't see black junkies out on the street.
I was talking football.
No, just listen to me for a minute. I see middle-aged, 40, 50-year-old, normal-looking, you know, people in their little business outfits. Like I said, stumbling lots, you know, in their half business suits and stuff. Like the way that they've done with the opioids and stuff up here, and the way they've done with the fentanyl, and the way that they've cut back on stuff, I get really sick of trying to see that, you know, I mean, everybody's calling like all the inner city issues like racial issues, because it's not. There's
plenty of white people strung out.
No, that's what I'm saying. Everybody that I fucking see around here is. I don't have all of the kids that go to my kids' school. Well, we have a lot of Muslims too, that go to my kids' school. I mean, absolutely sweetest kids. You know, awesome parents, nice. But at the same time, I go to Walmart and I've got a white lady that I'm trying not to hit with my van because she's stumbling across the parking lot because she's so fucked up. But I mean,
I get your point. I mean, I would also say that it would be, you know,
I'm not articulating this properly. I realize that.
Well, but I think it's even from my perspective, because I'm in like you know, number one, a totally different state, and number two, I'm not in a, you know, huge populated area as you are at the moment. But I think that also has something to do with it. You know, bigger populace. You also have more problems.
Here's what I'm saying, Scott. When you look at what they say about Baltimore on TV, all you see is a bunch of,
Drama.
angry black people smashing police cars. But there's so much more than that.
Of course.
There's
when you
so
see the
many
stuff on
problems in the other
TV,
communities.
it's what they
But
want
they
you
make
to see.
it. Yes. Well, kind of like this bullshit with the schools today. Those kids aren't marching out of school because they're protesting gun violence,
No, they have no idea.
I mean, don't get me wrong. They probably don't want to get shot at school, and I don't blame them. I don't think I would either. I mean, I don't want my kids getting shot at school.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't. These kids are going to go home and shoot with their parents. They're going to go home and play video games. Yeah, I mean, they're going to go home and think everything's, cool until their teachers tell them otherwise. But it goes back to exactly what you guys were saying about the media. The media shows you what you want. And and I get fucking sick of it. I want to just
I'm sorry to say it, but
and that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why when my wife and I first got married, or first got together / married, she loved the show Cops. All right.
No,
she loved it.
Yeah.
She loved it. And I was just like, let's watch a week of Cops, okay? Just you and me. Just you and me, okay?
It's all black guys.
And
you
by
might get
the
the occasional trailer park.
Right. But by the end of the week, okay, tell me what's wrong with this whole perception. And the media does it really well. We got through the last week, and she's like, we went through the week, and she's like, I'm not watching the show anymore. And I go, why is that, honey? And she goes, for one, most of the people who get busted for what? A small amount of drugs?
Mm-hmm.
Honest to God. Nice little conservative girl, okay, from Central Illinois, okay, stating that, and what else, honey? Well, 80% of these people are African American. And I was like, that's what drives the ratings, honey. Yep. And she goes, I know. And she's like, yeah. And we don't even she doesn't hardly watch the show anymore. So everybody say it's a media. You're right. A lot of it is the media.
A lot of it's media, but a lot of it is people who watch the media.
Yeah. But at the same time, I think they also have their own agendas, and their own agendas are applying to either a race war, or it's religion war, or it's something that has to do with dividing us and conquering us.
Class or gender or some. Yep. Yeah, and you know what? And that's where, I come in and I say, I don't judge people on the color of their skin, or their gender, or whatever. I judge people as individuals. Now, if you're drinking Budweiser, I'm going to judge you because I work for Miller Coors. But that's a whole different story. But I mean, at the same time, now
Chris is the gentle giant until you start drinking Bud Light.
Yeah, Bud Light Orange, by the way. But at the same time,
I'm gonna tell you what. If I can find that, I'm gonna do that for the shitty beer show.
Buy the Bud Light Orange.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get me a big ass 40 of some OE, and I'm gonna get me I'm gonna go there because we still got them here, but they're in plastic bottles now.
I'm telling you,
the 40s in plastic bottles. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm telling you what. I'm betting I can find better than that.
We distribute that, and also the Colt 45 is now in plastic bottles too.
Really, they went plastic bottles too.
Yeah.
Is Miller High Life still in glass?
And plastic too.
The champagne. No,
the champagne of beers.
Find me a big old can of
beers. It's got to be in a glass 40.
Got to find me one of them tall boys that had Natty Ice.
Oh, kind of like what we did a couple years back when we did our shitty beer show, Scott.
Yep.
Remember that?
Yep. That's like the one guy that I work with, man. He comes in all the time, and I mean, you could smell it on him. I mean, the guy has to be like 3 sheets to the wind drunk from like shitty ass beer because it smells like shitty ass beer. And I'm like, I'm sitting there talking to him one day, and I'm like, dude, what is your beer? I mean, because I talk about beer all the time, and he's like, oh yeah, I could use a beer right now. I'm like, I bet you can, you fucking alcoholic. But he just looked at me. He was like, I drink on that Milwaukee's Best Ice. I get me a 30-pack every weekend.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
goodness! Oh wow! We saw that too.
I'm like, dude, you just made me puke in my mouth a bit.
Yeah, we sell that too. It's I can't tell you. I've got one store that's like it's a county market. It's like a ghetto store, and
Right.
I'll go through like 10 of those a week. 10 of
Wow.
those 24 packs of Milwaukee's Best Ice.
Ugh.
I'll go through that.
Nope. That's why I had. Remember that dude that I used to hang out with all the time, that Justin kid that I had on the show once?
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's what he used to drink, and I had to hook him up. I got him started on some Sam's, and it took off from there. I'm like, dude, you can't be drinking this shit in my house no more. He was like, but this is good beer. I said, no, it ain't. Let me show you what some good beer is. I had him hooked on some fucking Oktoberfest by the end of the day.
You know, but at the same time, though, Scott, as a beer salesman, I can't really go and say, you know, I don't want you drinking this or that.
I know, only because of the fact that it sells. I get your point.
You know, the craft beer is actually the icing.
Yeah, I know.
And everything else is like the meat, potatoes. You know,
Yeah.
That's what I survive on. That is the meat and potatoes. Unfortunately, I can get rich off of selling craft beer. I would.
Take it.
If I can get rich off selling craft beer, I would. But unfortunately, in this day and age, I've got to sell it all.
Well, of course. I mean, it's always going to be a business thing, dude. I mean, whether or not somebody's making some like rice beer, or whether or not they're making corn water beer, whether or not they're making craft beer.
Right.
The biggest new thing that's coming up in homebrew competitions is collaborations between homebrewers.
Yes.
I've seen that recently too, and I'm looking forward to some of those popping up.
Yep.
I would rather prefer like the small and local brew pubs, like the actual like breweries that are like nano breweries, or like pop-up breweries that are just, they're going to stay small and they're going to stay local. I would rather any day, I would rather go down to like one of those little brew pubs and get me like a small growler fill of anything special that they just brewed up, because like Birdfish Brewing Company out of Columbiana, Ohio, they originally started off as a 1-barrel brew house, and now they're expanding to a 10-barrel brew house. But they're not distributing. You have to go to there, you have to buy their stuff, and you have to, you know, whether you bring in your own growler or buy one of theirs, that's the only way that you're going to be able to get their beer.
Right. That almost sounds like Treehouse, but Treehouse actually cans it, but they don't distribute outside of their brewery.
Nice.
They you have to go to the brewery to get the beer.
Yep. Now, I did see that like Birdfish does like
those around here too.
Well, Birdfish does. They go ahead and do small kegs, but it's only distributed like right around their like brew house.
Right, and that's what Treehouse does too. They do special kegging and stuff like that, but
yeah,
and for bars, you know, for like special events and you know, special keg tappings or whatever. But that's one of the reasons why I love taking my trip up to Muncie, Indiana. Although Three Floyds does distribute, okay, they own their distribution is so limited, and they're not going to expand.
They're expanding again.
Yeah, I know, but that's only to keep the the flow of what they've got now. They're not
Right.
going to expand outside their territory.
No.
So
I heard the guy. I'm one of the guys that goes there all the time for their Dark Lord Day. Once I told him they were expanding again, he was like, "Good God, where are they going to go? Because their facility right now is already huge."
right,
And
but
he was like, "Where are
but
they
they
going to go?" Because of the fact that they're inside of an industrial park.
right.
He was like, where they're at inside the industrial park doesn't have any other room unless they're buying up another lot and then just expanding it across the lots.
They just did. They bought the last part of the lot. Okay,
Nice.
and it's a 3 block lot.
Yeah.
That's how big it is,
Yep.
and they're gonna add on to that.
Well, from what I hear, it's also not only to pretty much like supply and demand at what they're already like limited to.
Right.
They said that they're not going to go outside their distribution network as of right now, but it's
Right.
also going to be their distillery as well, because they have a distillery too.
Right. And this past week we just picked up. We just not we, but our market in Springfield. We got Sun King Brewery.
Okay, yeah.
And I picked up their IPA, SPK IPA or something like that.
Yeah.
It's not bad. I've heard good things about Sun King. So
We just got a fresh shipment of Gumball Head in.
I love that.
I knew you would like that one.
I know. I need to make a trip up to Muncie, Indiana, sometime this summer, so I can get because I go straight to the brewery because I get cheaper at the brewery than I can at the grocery store, because at the regular liquor stores they'll charge like $13.99, $14.99 for a 6-pack, where I can go to
What? Holy crap!
Yeah, and I can
I'm
go
like $9.99 all day, dude.
Yeah, I can go to the brewery and get a case for $40.
Right.
So, yeah,
Wow.
I'm not dumb.
Hell no. I just didn't realize, man. It's like once you hear certain prices for beer in other states, you start like appreciating the beer prices in your own state.
Well, this is in Indiana. You go like 3 miles down from the brewery. You go to the nearest liquor store,
Yep.
and they're charging $14.99
Yep.
for Gumball Head or Alpha King or Zombie Dust.
Wow.
They're charging maybe $12.99 for Gumball Head, but they're charging like $14.99 for Zombie Dust.
Wow.
And I'm like, forget that. I'll go to the brewery and get a case for $40.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I might have to wait 20, 30 minutes in line, but I'll tell you what, it's a lot cheaper. It's a lot easier. I'll wait 30 minutes to save $20 on a case.
Especially if you're going to be guaranteed to get that. Oh yeah, I'd wait too.
Yeah. No doubt.
Especially like if I could pick up a case of like Zombie Dust. If I knew I was there early enough to pick up a case of Zombie Dust and I still had to wait 20, 30 minutes, I'm going to still wait.
Yeah, and the kiosk opens up at 11. There's people there. There's a line of people there at 11.
Yep.
Every day. So, but you can get on their website. Okay, you can get on their website and see what they've got available for that day, because they posted about 2 or 3 hours before their kiosk opens. Okay, to see what they've got going for that day. So,
I mean, that's nice for convenience, especially if you're in the area.
yeah, it's nice when you're traveling like 3 hours from Muncie, Indiana, from Springfield, and you're like, well, I want to go to Muncie, Indiana, so I'll leave at about 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning to get up there, and As soon as I get there, there's a 30-minute wait to get in.
And then you got a line down the block.
Yeah, there's a line down the block, but people go in and out, and just from the kiosk, I'm sure those people are I'm sure that place is making at least 10, 20 grand a day just through the kiosk.
Easy, especially if any time throughout the day that they go ahead and release something limited or special.
Yeah.
I mean, they got to be like, okay, well, we're just going to release this limited edition aged bottle of like blot out the sun just for no reason whatsoever. Yeah. And now they're going to charge like $25 a bottle for it because it's already aged. And people are going to be like, oh, yeah, give it to me, give me one or two or how many ever I'm allowed.
Yeah,
and they're making even more money.
I've seen people bring in like friends with them from out of town and stuff. They're like, I need like 10 cases, but there's a 2-case limit, okay, per person. So they're like, they'll bring like 3 or 4 of their friends, okay, with them, and they're like, I need my 3/4 kick. I need my 3/4 kick for like the next couple months. So they're like, so one guy would get 2 cases of Gumball Head. Another guy would get 2 cases of Alpatine. So another guy would get 2 cases of the Bruce whatever, and another guy would
the
get
Bruce that's their Scotch ale.
The Scotch ale, right? And then another guy will get 2 cases of Zombie Dust, and another guy will get 2 cases of Zombie Dust because that's pretty popular. So I've seen it happen like that, and the guy and literally the guy will just give them like $80 for each guy.
Damn.
Be like, yeah, I'm just paying it forward for all these people behind me.
That's hardcore. Yeah. That's hardcore. Just to stock up.
I've seen the guy just drop $500 just to get 3 Floyd's beer.
Oh yeah,
$500.
Well, when they go to Dark Lord Day, I mean, you're automatically out $200. But that $200 is going to get you 4 of the Dark Lord. It's going to automatically get you a 4-pack of Dark Lord, but it's also going to get you 1 of their variants, whether it's barrel aged, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's still insane, dude. That's like $200 plus whatever you got, to put in your gas tank to get over there, plus whatever you got to shell out for a motel hotel room if you can even get one.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Because that shit's usually booked out and like shut out for like weeks ahead of time, if not months ahead of time.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's crazy. It is crazy.
But I do admit, if anybody could get a hold of a bottle of Dark Lord, it is phenomenal.
I've seen people post Dark Lord on like eBay for like $100 and something bucks for just the bottle of Dark Lord.
And what's really nice for about 3 Floyds is that they actually have people to sit around and look for and scout for people that are selling it on eBay. Just to have them shut down because 1, they don't want their beer sold on like trade sites like that. And number 2, you're not allowed to sell beer on Facebook, even though that I know people that do.
Oh, I know. I still run a trading beer traders group, and there's there's people on there that are like, I'll sell you this for this, or and I was like, you're supposed to be trading, not selling.
Yep.
Did I get kicked off of that?
You got to trade.
Those guys get kicked
off that group
big time.
What's that?
So
maybe I got kicked off. I think
off my beer traders crew.
Yeah,
I don't think you have.
Maybe I disjoined it.
You're probably
disgruntled.
You probably unjoined or whatever.
I might have disjoined. Yeah, I might have left for some reason. But was it just called Beer Traders?
No, it was originally it was called something. It was a beer traders group. I forgot the original name, but the name now is Sharing Delicious Ideas.
Oh, that's what's going on. So I probably saw that and I was like, this
because Facebook did a crackdown on beer traders groups.
Okay. Yeah, they did.
1.2 thousand members? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'm joining.
Yeah.
All right.
So I had to change the name to Sharing Delicious Ideas.
Okay. All right. That's, you know, I mean, I would have been like, what the hell is this? And just left. Because I'm always narrowing down the groups, and if I'm following people, I'm like, I don't want to follow people. What the hell? Or pages. I don't like pages. You know, people. I don't like people. Has anybody trashed Lauren Southern yet?
All right, guys. Okay, explain to me what's going on with this whole thing with her, because I only caught part of it because I'm not really on the net much or whatever. What the hell just happened?
Hey Shane, maybe you should start a page called Trashing Lauren Southern.
I already started that Navy chemtrail penis photo for president thing. I mean, I don't know. How many groups can I start that are just complete shit?
You think Lauren Southern would diss me, will trash me because I'm drinking a Mexican beer right now?
No, she'd want you to get her pregnant, dude. She'd be like, give it to me, baby.
Ew. No.
While doing the Mexican hat dance?
Yeah, the La Cucaracha, maybe.
Oh.
Well, she got detained.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask, what was going on with the whole latest thing with her?
Okay. So here's the thing: is she is completely fucking racist. Okay, first of all, as a preface, she is.
Yeah, I know who she is.
She's an alt-whitey.
That's not who she is. Who she is she's a Spaniard that Danish that wants to be more white. Okay, she's partially Norwegian, but she wants to be less Pacific Islander and Southeast Asian and more white and Spanish. Okay, so she's the Canadian alt-right journalist who wrote the book Barbarians, Immigrants, Baby Boomers, and Illegals Destroyed My Generation.
Okay. I know all this stuff. I'm just wondering what happened, what the reason is. Unless you just feel like you need to go into. Well, go ahead and go through the backstory for any of our listeners.
Okay. So that's the backstory. So she was in France, and she was trying to go to a white racist rally that they use the guise of free speech to mask their identities. Okay, free speech in England. Okay, so she got to the border control for England, which was a land point, and she was detained for a very long time, and she was given a writ from Her Majesty's authority herself, not really, but actually from the International Arrangements Order at the Channel Tunnel, which is the channel which goes between France and England. They're on the south of England and the north of France. And it says, to Lauren Cherry Southern, you have asked for leave to enter the UK as a visitor for up to 5 days. However, by your own admission, on the 24th February 28, you were involved in the distribution of racist material in Luton, England, which is just outside of London. I believe that your actions whilst in the UK present a threat to the fundamental interests of society and the public policy of the UK. So she was investigated and then denied for terrorism, okay, for being racist. for distributing racist material. And, understanding that the UK is like the hardest place to get into. It's like the hardest country to get into. They turn the screws on you. But they let me in. They let my ass in, and I have a bad attitude, and I'm a jerk, and they still let me in. Even when I was a jerk to their Ministry of Immigration officers, super rude to them. Like,
you gotta think of it this way, though. At the same time, I mean, you're not as broadly, watched or respected or even looked at as she is.
Yeah, nobody cares about me.
Well, right. No, I mean, I realize that the United Kingdom. I realize that the United Kingdom is not like a free society, the way that we are supposed to be over here, which I realize that we're not either. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
I like that.
It's the police, security, surveillance, nanny state in the world. It is the most progressive when it comes to being a police state, a nanny state, a security state, a surveillance state. You are on facial recognition camera everywhere, unless you're taking a number 3.
But yeah, number 3. But why would I mean? I don't know. I mean, I would think that it would be one of those things where, I mean, like, we should be supportive of her, even if we're not supportive of her. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does to a certain extent. I mean, I get it.
I mean, I mean, if we're going to be a free society, I mean, you obviously can't regulate speech, and you can't regulate assholes or people that you disagree with.
That's almost like saying that the same kind of thing that's going on here in the country nowadays is that people are becoming I don't want to say this lightly. They're becoming assholes to everything that everybody says because of the fact that they're, oh my God, that just offends me in every single way, in every single aspect. I don't give a shit. If it offends you, I'm not sorry that it offended you just because it may be my opinion, my beliefs, and my way of life.
And sometimes people just say things that aren't nice. I mean, that's just the way it is.
The thing is that, like, if you looked at Mexico, if Lauren Southern went to Mexico and did what she did in Luton, she would be in Mexican jail for a while,
But what if she did it in America, where we're supposed to have freedoms? Yes.
That's fine. There's no problem, I guess. There's not supposed to be a problem.
Well, no, there really shouldn't be because, again, I mean, that's freedom of speech.
Yeah, it's freedom of speech, and it doesn't apply.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't like a lot of things that a whole lot of people say, but I'm not trying to throw them in jail for it.
Right. Yeah, but it doesn't apply.
I know a lot of people are going to have a problem with this, but at the same time, if you look at our Constitution, it just does not apply to people outside of the country.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't apply to certain amounts, certain people. But it's not for just certain people. It's not for a certain class of people. The Constitution is not for a certain class of people. The Constitution is a human rights document, rights document. And that's something where when we look at
most of it states in most of it states that you have to become a natural born citizen or at least a citizen of the United States to obtain these rules and the regulations.
Yeah, so then you have a lower set of rules. If you're not under if you're not under those rules, then less rules apply to you. So you have more freedoms. You have more freedoms by not being a citizen. That's how it's written.
Hold on, I think I misunderstood you. You said you have more freedoms by not being a citizen of the United States?
Absolutely.
No.
Yeah, absolutely. There's fewer rules that apply to you as a non-citizen.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm not talking about in the United States. I'm talking about from other countries. Because, I mean, we're talking about something that this girl is doing that in the United States would be protected speech. But she can be arrested and detained in other places. Right. And in some places, possibly even killed.
Well,
So, I mean,
yeah, exactly, and that's the risk she takes, and she should mind her p's and q's before she opens her fucking mouth, because when you get banned from the UK,
I will tell you, I agree with you there.
yeah, when you get banned from the UK has sovereignty over a lot of other countries. A lot of countries are under the crown, even though they have their own governments. They are under the crown. So just being banned from the UK could mean that you're also banned from South Africa.
Well, I mean, there's going to be some backlash. Oh, of course, there's going to be some backlash. Other countries will look at her and, question her whether or not they actually want her in their country.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And, it's gonna have to align with their official narrative, because, every country has their official narrative. And,
right.
We don't have a whole bunch of altruism in government going on. The Scandinavians really think that they have very altruistic governments. Some of the Eastern Europeans and places like that, they think they have a very much, they believe like we are the government. We control this. We steer this ship. This bitch is ours. And in a lot of ways, that's kind of accurate. But they're practicing systems of democracy, so that the little 50% plus majority can outrule the rest of the people. But they have significantly less laws than the United States and the United Kingdom. So it's much more free in, say, Denmark, Sweden.
Well, I
Finland,
mean, to be honest with you, at the same time, the United States was not supposed to be meant to be governed like it's being governed today. I mean, we were all supposed to be a lot freer than what we are today.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember in the 80s and the 90s, if you wanted to do something and somebody said something to you, say you're driving down the street and you wanted to do something and somebody said some shit to you, you roll down your window and you throw your beer at them.
Dude, they're throughout the 80s and the early 90s, you could actually whoop somebody's ass out on the street for no given purpose, just because of the fact that you guys both wanted to scrap, whether or not you guys were going to spend a night in jail because of the fact that you were fighting in public, and
it was perfectly fine.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's like I can't fight this person because, number one, I got to worry about not only being sued for assault and battery, and spending my time in jail and losing time at work and losing time with my family and everything else over the fact that this person was running their mouth and didn't expect somebody to actually do something about it.
Yeah.
Hey, Scott. Yeah. I'll still fight you.
Dude, and Amy, I know you're a real woman, and a real man or woman takes a pop in the jaw.
But still, that's all the good. Point nowadays is that throughout history, and this is the way that I look at it nowadays, is that throughout history, it used to take a lot of shit to actually get somebody pissed off enough to actually want to fight somebody. Yeah. They actually had to do something really, really bad, either to you or to your family members, or to somebody that was. You could talk crap about somebody that was dead in their family, and then all of a sudden they wanted to scrap because of the fact that you were talking crap about their family. But now, I mean, you could talk about, oh, that dress looks hideous, or dude, why are you wearing that flag out your back pocket and when you're coming down my neighborhood, and all of a sudden you're getting offended and you want to fight over some stupid shit? Really?
I blame part of that on the internet, for what it's worth.
Oh yeah. I mean, you could see if you look at the I won't say the invention of the internet, because the internet was actually started by the government because of the fact that they wanted to communicate.
That was Al Gore. He took credit for that.
But back in the 1950s, Amy,
once you release the internet to the populace, and they got to AOL, whether they got into, hey, you got mail. Anyway.
What was it, 1956, Scott, when CompuServe began and .mil?
Early 50s, yes.
And the banks were all on. You had 3 different sectors.
There was also communication, or I want to say it was earlier than that, because of the fact that they wanted Camp David to be able to communicate with the West Coast. That was the earliest internet. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the earliest version of the internet, because there was out west